Hi Pranayna.
Hi Anup.
How are you?
I am really good. I'm really excited to finally be here.
Yeah. Thank you. तिम्रो विकेन्डमा पनि तिमीले हामीलाई समय दिएकोमा हुन्छ नि. I think there is a saying कि राम्रो मान्छेलाई बोलाउनको लागि बेसी मेहनत गर्नुपर्छ अनि we're proud of our hard work.
No, let's not set the expectation so high. अलिकति mid-level expectation तल आऊँ so we can rise up from there.
Okay, so I think आजको पडकास्टको बारेमा प्लान गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ म केमा कन्फ्युज थिएँ भन्दाखेरि कहाँबाट सुरु गरौँ भनेर कि हैन. प्रणयनाको मतलब इन्ट्रोडक्सन दिँदाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ अब हाम्रो अडियन्सलाई भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ सी इज अ पर्सन बिहाइन्ड मार्केटिङ एन्ड ब्रान्डिङ अफ दराज हैन. एभ्रिथिङ वी सी दराजको प्रोफाइलहरूमा दराजको प्रोफाइल एज इन लाइक दराजको सोसल मिडिया पेजेसहरूमा या कुनै पनि कम्युनिकेसनमा चाहिँ इट्स यु हु मेक्स द फाइनल कल.
Final call. I mean, I am the person who leads an incredible team. So most of the सब तपाईहरुले देख्ने धेरै जस्तो चीजहरु चाहिँ there is a brilliant team that runs it, and I'm very fortunate to be leading them.
Nice guess of how a leader should be. हैन. So many things portfolio मा हैन. अब जहाँसम्म मलाई थाहा छ we have worked in Australia, India, Nepal, you have been CEO, you have been business development head, marketing head, branding head, कति धेरै कुराहरु हैन. अनि यति सानो एजमा दो हामी डिस्क्लोज गर्दैनौँ हाम्रो अडियन्सलाई हैन. सो हाउ कस्तो रह्यो यो होल जर्नी फ्रम वर्किङ इन 3 different countries, multiple different designations हैन. How has the journey been so far?
I mean, let's not say young age, like small age, but let's set expectations clear again. The great thing I think is I've worked across different industries. I've worked across, like you mentioned, different roles. But what is so exciting and what I've learned is the commonality is always the same. Tyo bhaneko jastै हामीले भन्छ नि B2B sales गर्दा र B2C sales गर्दा you're selling to a human at the end of the day. And that's the same across industries. So मैले head of brand को role गर्दा या chief business officer को role गर्दा at a health tech startup in India, what was common about it was at the end of the day you're leading people, so you have to understand them. Empathy चाहिन्छ. अनि अर्को भनेको there's not a single role that I've taken where I haven't had to work hard. भनेको त्यो your 9 to 5 is fine, but every single role has required for me to go back home and do my homework. So I think the two things that are in common across any profession or any industry is that you are always dealing with human beings. So that always remains the same. So you need empathy in that sense, and you got to know how to handle emotions. And second bhaneko, it's homework. Learning never stops. And I think a true professional is the one that keeps learning constantly. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. So those two things have been common across my entire career.
धेरैजना कतिपय जनाहरुसँग यो स्टार्टअप र जबको बारेमा कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ धेरैले दिने लजिक चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जबमा त 6 बजिसकेपछि त यु जस्ट गो होम, यु स्विच अफ एन्ड यु आर अ डिफ्रेन्ट पर्सन हैन. बट देन यु आर सेइङ हियर कि त्यस्तो सिचुएसनै थिएन जहाँ चाहिँ यु हेभन्ट बीन ब्याक एट यो प्लेस एन्ड स्टार्टेड डुइङ होमवर्क हैन. सो त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ बिकज आई थिङ्क हाइवेको कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यु आर अल्सो लिडिङ इट्स यो कम्पनी टेक्निकली या एक किसिमले भन्दाखेरि हैन, यु आर पार्टनर्ड विथ यो सिस्टर. सो जबको एक्सपिरियन्स, स्टार्टअपको एक्सपिरियन्स, लिडिङ पोजिसनको एक्सपिरियन्समा चाहिँ तिमीले यो जब र इक्विटी एन्टरप्रेन्योरसिपमा चाहिँ कस्तो डिफरेन्स फिल गर्छौ या कस्तो डिफरेन्स देखिरहेको छौ?
So त्यही पोइन्टमा चाहिँ I think that's one of the things like you mentioned, अस्ट्रेलियामा काम गर्दा, इन्डियामा काम गर्दा चाहिँ a lot of people have the same kind of mentality where you are trying to keep up not just with that industry, that country, you're trying to keep up with the world. नेपालमा चाहिँ के छ भने we get complacent. So the question you asked is, I don't think there should be a difference between a job and an equity entrepreneurship or the fact that it's your own company. I think as a person, whether you're an employee or you're actually an entrepreneur or the CEO founder, the attitude should be that I should be able to give my 100%. And if you give your 100%, why would it matter whether that is your company or that is someone else's company? Because at the end of the day, राम्रो काम गर्ने मान्छेले जसले सबै आफ्नो 100% दिन्छ त्यो जसले पनि एप्रिसिएट गर्छ अनि सिक्ने भने आफैले हो. सो त्यो मेन्टालिटीले लिएर काम गर्यो भने त आई डोन्ट थिङ्क इट्स अलवेज अ विन विन सिचुएसन जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई.
तिमीलाई ऊ लाग्छ जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल मैले कहिलेका दिने इक्जाम्पलमा चाहिँ जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल जो हामीसँग अहिले काम गरेर आएको छौँ यो कम्पनीमा होइन जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल लेट मी नो वाट यु थिङ्क अबाउट इट है त देयर इज एन एटिट्युड द्याट वी क्यारी जस्तो लाग्छ क्या जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल लेट्स चाहिँ कोही मसँग काम गरेर आएको छ अनि उसको जे एटिट्युड छ लेट्स चाहिँ ऊ भोलिको दिन आफ्नो कम्पनी खोल्यो भने चाहिँ उसले त्यही एटिट्युड नै क्यारी गर्ने हो जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल लेट्स चाहिँ काम अलिकति लेड अफ छ या अलिकति रिसर्च ओरिएन्टेड छैन भन्दाखेरि त्यो मान्छेले भोलि गएर आफ्नै बिजनेस खोल्यो भने पनि त्यही एटिट्युड नै जानेवाला छ सो इभन इफ यु आर ओनिङ यर ओन बिजनेस यु आर नट डुइङ जस्टिस टु तिम्रो डेजिग्नेसन जस्तो लाग्छ कि डु यु एग्री विथ दिस
Yes, I do. Because I think त्यो distinction हुन्छ नि प्रोफेसनल लाइफ र पर्सनल लाइफ भने भेरी एकदम डिफ्रेन्ट भनेर सोध्छौँ कि तर इट्स नट ट्रु you're the same person working, you're the same person when you come back home. In some sense, the true characteristic or your foundational characteristic doesn't change. So I completely agree with you. तपाईँको attitude नै you're a hard-working person, you're someone who likes to do research, like you said, you're someone who likes to give the 100%. Why would it matter? So like you said, it's the same thing that you do. Of course, passion matters. I think one of the things that people really struggle with is doing a 9-to-5 job that you're not passionate about. Then I understand why you find it so difficult to give your 100%. Entrepreneurship ma jane bhaneko pani, like Simon Sinek says, start with why. So of course that passion is extremely important, but you're absolutely right. Like the attitude liera nai jane ho. Tara maile ke bhanchu bhane see when I say learning never and hive like पनि कुरा गर्नु भयो the reason I partnered with my sister is not because she is my sister but because I believe in the vision of the company and I see the need of it every single day and I've seen it throughout my career so that passion is important but even in like you know हामीले leadership या learning को कुरा गर्दाखेरि we always think what am I going to learn from you to do but I think what we really need to understand as well is learning what not to do is also extremely important so when you meet a bad boss or have a bad colleague or a bad working environment I think you're also learning what not to do and I think that is extremely important in the learning process as well
यो passion को कुरा गर्दाखेरि कहिलेकाहीँ मलाई कन्फ्युजन चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि एज एन अन्टरप्रेनरले चाहिँ तिमी एउटा आर्टमा प्यासनेट छौ त्यो आर्टलाई लाइक अझै एक्सटेन्सिभली लानको लागि तिमीले बिजनेसमा कन्भर्ट गर्न खोज्छौ तर जब तिमीले बिजनेसमा कन्भर्ट गर्न खोज्छौ नट 100% अफ द टाइम यु डु द्याट त्यो कुरा जुन यु आर प्यासनेट अबाउट के नाउ यु आर इन्टु मार्केटिङ नाउ यु आर इन्टु सेल्स नाउ इन्टु बिलिङ नाउ यु आर इन्टु कम्युनिकेसन पिआर होइन अनि त्यो कन्टेक्समा चाहिँ कहिलेकाहीँ यो प्यासनलाई बिजनेसमा कन्भर्ट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो किन प्यासनलाई बिजनेसमा कन्भर्ट गरिन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ सो द्याट रेस्ट अफ माई लाइफ आई गेट टु डु दिस थिङ तर कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ अन्टरप्रेनरसिपमा चाहिँ ठ्याक्क त हुँदैन कि यु हेभ टु डु अलमोस्ट एभ्रिथिङ एन्ड एनिथिङ होइन अनि त्यहाँ चाहिँ आई थिङ्क त्यो एउटा देयर इज दिस बिग कन्फ्युजन वेन यु से कि यु हेभ टु बी प्यासनेट अबाउट दिस पर्टिकुलर थिङ एन्ड वेन यु आर सो प्यासनेट देन ओन्ली यु क्यान कन्भर्ट इन्टु अ बिजनेस भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ कहिलेकाहीँ इट्स हाफ ट्रुथ जस्तो लाग्ने के होइन
I mean, त्यसमा यस्तो हो कि मलाई त्यस्तै लाग्छ लाइक हामीले हुन्छ नि लाइक फर लेट मी टाई दिस अप विथ सबैजनालाई इन्फ्लुएन्सर हुनु मन लाग्छ होइन यु वान्ट टु बी पपुलर लाइक नाउ यु वान्ट 1 million followers नाउ यु वान्ट टु हेभ thousands of comments on your creation now but all that takes to do that like content creation is not an easy job and we know that like I dabbled into content creation this last year so I understand that so much तर त्यो 1 million पुग्नलाई के गर्नुपर्छ भने त त्यो that's part of the process right so when you say passion your passion at the end of the day like for example is to change something to be a change like for example if you're very passionate about energy like when I was working with electric scooters it wasn't that I was passionate about electric scooters it was the fact that every single job that I've done my why didn't change it's like am I making an impact am I being able to mentor people as long as the answer was yes what I had to do that it didn't matter so I think when you talk about that you're talking about the process people shouldn't focus on the process as soon as you do everything is daunting त्यो गर्न सकिन्छ र जस्तो लाग्छ नि लाइक अन्टरप्रेन्योरसिप नै भन्यो भने ल मलाई I don't understand finance भनौँ या I don't understand marketing can I become an entrepreneur though I'm passionate भन्यो भने then it becomes daunting okay and I think that's why I said start with why and that's why Simon Sinek said it as well it's like your end goal your North Star goal has to be something that just gets you out of bed and what you have to do throughout the day that's okay that's like a very procedural yeah admin ko kura jaste ho ke it's like a to do list but I think you focus on the passion is the why, the bigger picture, which not everybody will see and you talk about every day, but you're very clear about it. But what I'd say is don't focus so much on the admin process of it. The SOP ma lagna thalyo bhane it's very difficult to say, okay, आज त मैले balance sheet हेर्नु पर्छ, I have to understand finances. I
It's important to son though. It's not like, if you want to scale your business, if you're bad at that, because personally as an entrepreneur, someone who started as a photographer, एकदमै struggle गरेको छु कि फेरि business background भएन अनि तिमीले अहिले it sounds cool, don't focus on an admin, but then when you don't focus on an admin, there are losses. त्यहाँ हुन्छ नि त्यो किन भन्दा फेरि क्लाइन्टलाई त मतलब छैन नि त तिमी एडमिन जानेको हो कि एडमिन नजानेको भनेर हैन. सो it's not true जस्तो लाग्ने के कतै कतै.
No, that's right. Okay, like you have to focus on why are you doing what you're doing. Okay, त्यो clear भयो भने चाहिँ एकदमै demotivate भएको बेलामा पनि that is something that will always play in your mind. Okay, like are you getting to do यस्तो हो नि त. If you look at your day, for example 9 to 5 the question is, are you happy doing what you're doing at least 60% of the time? Your expectation is to be happy 100% of the time. Nobody can guarantee that. Nothing can.
Yeah, it's a myth.
The priority is, am I happy majority of the time? So what you're saying is, yo garda khushi थिएन होला म.
So I think तिम्रो प्रोफाइलमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ you were the first female CEO of an EV industry, हैन?
Two-wheelers specifically. तर electric vehicle ma, I mean generally of course the number of women leaders are less, as we know. I prefer not to talk about statistics because I think it's very evident. As we were talking about earlier, just the number of how difficult you find it to find female guests for your show as well. So it's in that in general, but especially electric vehicle green energy ko kurama chai there are not a lot of women who lead automotive companies, let alone a green one. So
and you as a CEO भनेर lead गरिसकेपछि फेरि CEO भन्दा कम पोस्टमा आउँदा फेरि चाहिँ डिमोसन भयो जस्तो फिल हुँदैन या कि तिमी एकदमै त्यो लेभलसम्म अवेर हो कि डेजिग्नेसन doesn't really matter?
See, I'd be lying to you if I say designation doesn't matter. It does. तर अब कस्तो छ भने the work has to be exciting for me. So I'll be honest, right? We don't talk about it as much. Pay matters. As long as the pay is competitive, that is number one priority. Second is designation. तर कस्तो भने I've always been someone who's focused on learning. तर त्यो कुरामा पनि I'll be very, very honest because I think young people really need to hear that as well. When I was younger, when I was in my 20s, learning was number one. But as I've aged, I think I found a way to learn on my own as well, whether the job provides that for me or not. So then pay does become important now. I'm also at that point in my life. But that is something that you have to choose, okay? Because not all fancy jobs and designations and pay will provide you the learning that you need. But when I say pay, first is pay, which comes along with designation, as long as it's a senior role, because I know what I bring to the table, so that I'm very confident about. Then second is the learning. So that is more important.
So if pay, definitely pay is important, right? What made you come back this way? Comparatively, बाहिर अस्ट्रेलियामा काम गर्दा इन्डियामा काम गर्दा र नेपालको पे स्केल हेर्ने हो भने त जमिन आसमानै फरक छ नि त हैन? So any specific reason नेपाल फर्केर नेपालमै गर्छु भन्नलाई?
Family. Mane. I know it's true. I mean, it's mainly because of family. I think, I lost my sister a couple of years ago. And one thing that, family has always been number one for me my entire life. Even when I was studying somewhere else, or as you know, my education is mostly based outside, and so is my work. It's always been the family who's pushed me to do that. My parents have reached a point where they like to have me around. So it's mainly them. And you're absolutely right. Of course, the pay was better. There's no way even a big Nepali company can match an Indian startup salary. So that's there. But ke गर्ने आमाको माया.
तर तिम्रो सबै करियरमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क सिइओ पोजिसन त एक्जिक्युटिभ भयो, सबै कुराको नै हेर्नु पऱ्यो होइन. तर बिसाइड सिइओ चाहिँ मोस्टली अराउन्ड ब्रान्डिङ मार्केटिङ नै वरिपरि छ है.
हजुर.
सो नेपालमा आएर हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ नेपाली कन्ज्युमर सोसाइटीमा युज हुने स्ट्राटेजीहरू, नेपाली कन्ज्युमर सोसाइटीलाई क्याटेगराइज गर्ने कुराहरू र आई थिङ्क अस्ट्रेलियामा काम गर्दाखेरिको ब्रान्डिङको अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङहरूमा हुन त कोर प्रिन्सिपलमा त केही फरक हुँदैन. तर यहाँ आएर एक्चुअली काम गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यस्तो केही फरकहरू फिल गर्यो तिमीले?
I mean, absolutely. See, यस्तो पनि छ तर we can sit here and assume. So as you know, like म योभन्दा पहिला इन्डियामा काम गरेँ हो नि त, सो इन्डियामा यु थिङ्क होइन यस्तो खतरा खतरा एड्स बन्छ, तर संसारभरि नै एउटा के मिसकन्सेप्सन छ भने नेपालमा मात्र नभएर marketing र branding is the same thing. But I know you and I have talked about this a lot because we're very passionate people about branding. But marketing bhaneko, brand is your story. Brand is why do you exist as a company? It's your mission, vision. Why do you do what you do? It covers all of that. And marketing bhaneko, those are all the channels that take the brand to people. And that difference always exists. So that's across the world. Nepalma चाहिँ कस्तो छ भने the companies that can spend for marketing, they are governed a lot by international countries, right? So if you look at big companies like Dabur, and there are a couple of others as well, they are governed by regional guidelines. So we don't have a lot of creative freedom. Daraz ma चाहिँ one great thing is we do. To a large extent, we do have a lot of creative freedom, and that I'm very glad about. That is also something that I was sort of clear about, that my question was, will I get to do what I know I'm good at? And that's always important. So two limitations as long as we think that branding and marketing are always the same, and your Facebook or your Instagram messaging is different from who the founder is and what his goal is, what his vision is, there will always be a change. So biggest difference here bhaneko त्यही हो, like we don't think about marketing as important, or that marketing has to tell the company's story through many, many ways. It's not just about going viral. It's not just about increasing your followers. It's never just about that. That's probably Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest. There's so many. TikTok, how can I forget that? That is just 5% of marketing.
You the definition ko perspective bada bhayo, मान्छेको understanding ko perspective bada हैन, consumer persona ko perspective bada भन्छ नि अब इन्डियन कन्ज्युमर र नेपाली कन्ज्युमर धेरैमा फरक छ, धेरैमा सिमिलरिटी छ भन्छ नि हैन. सो डु यु एग्री विथ दैट?
Yes, I mean, मैले अघि भने point just say we're humans at the end of the day.
त्यसो त अब संसारभरिकै नै एउटै हुनु पर्यो भन्ने कुरा.
But that's true. कस्तो भनेको humans भन्नाले it has to strike to what we resonate with to some extent. त्यो भनेको we talk about empathy in marketing a lot. I mean, empathy is the backbone of marketing, where as a creative director, as someone who heads brand, you try to think of, will this get the consumer excited? Will they want to buy it? So I think, don't you think like a Danish ad agency, an Indian ad agency, and an agency based out of New York are thinking the same thing? Like, how can we get the consumer excited? So that doesn't change. Indian र Nepali कस्तो भने we're talking about culture नि त. So cultural references, or what are the words that we can use. So it goes into those nuances that really changes. So you're right, like Nepali र Indian consumer मा धेरै similarities छ.
Any experience as such जुन चाहिँ तिमीले उता काम गर्दा र यहाँ काम गर्दा फेरि चाहिँ त्यो उ भएको त्यस्तो केही छ?
What is उ भएको
as in like त्यो रियलाइज भयो कि ए ओके फरक रहेछ, ए ओके सिमिलर रहेछ भन्ने होला कुरा के?
I underestimated India. So Nepalमा न्यूमा काम गरिसकेपछि the next gig was in India, and त्यति बेला चाहिँ म Frost & Sullivan भन्ने consulting firm को brand हेरेर थिएँ. I was heading brand for India.
You business like के गर्छ?
They basically consultants for your business strategy, we do brand strategy, we did like expansion for companies. So it's basically consulting. Like
your Boston Consulting, McKinsey as they.
BCG, KPMG, so we fall within that category. Ernst & Young. So I was doing that, and my assumption is I think I really underestimated India. I thought it was going to be easy, it's going to be very similar. Good God, Indian marketing is at a whole new level. And what I mean by that is, Nepal ma tyo pani problem cha. We don't work so much with data, which is unfortunate. So if there's any marketer listening to this, get your hands ready in understanding data, because that is going to be...
That's possible छैन नि थाहा छ, because TV does not give you data, newspaper ले data दिदैन, radio ले data दिदैन, events ले data दिदैन हैन. यहाँ त के I don't think you do ठुल्ठुलो बोर्ड्सहरु छन्, डिजिटल बोर्ड्सहरु, यिनीहरु पनि डेटा दिन्न होला के.
दिदैन.
That's why मैले भनिराख्ने कुरा चाहिँ I think नेपाल मात्र एउटा यस्तो देश हो जहाँ चाहिँ बिग बजेट रियालिटी शो हुन्छ नि, सबै युट्युबमा छ. तिमीले I don't think इन्डियन आइडल तिमीले युट्युबमा हेर्छौ, इन्डियन आइडल तिमीले टिभीमा हेर्छौ हैन, अमेरिकन आइडल तिमीले टिभीमा हेर्छौ. सो त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ या जस्ट ट्राइङ टु एड अन कि नेपाली मार्केटर्सहरु बिचारालाई धेरै डेटामा खेल्ने ठाउँै छैन.
No, I agree with you. Like one thing we talk about, so Daraz, of course, Pakistan is like the biggest market for Daraz, right? And we talk about, they always push for TV. And we always talk about TRP. And they get really shocked. TRP. But my point is, when we say data, like I'll give you a very simple example, right? And I don't think we should cut marketers the slack. Daraz is like one of the leaders. I mean, we do use advanced software for our performance marketing. I mean, if any one of you is interested, please do reach out. I mean, one of the most impressive things about Daraz is our performance marketing wing. We have really advanced tools. Like our Facebook ads and the data we derive from that are pretty incredible, like our business intelligence unit. I'll give you a simple example. Hamle influencer, how many companies ask the influencer for the insights? Not that many. So we don't ask the region kun chai ho. If you just go to insights on Instagram, you get everything. ready-made. But we don't ask for that. And most of the companies, whenever I talk to the managers who handled marketing, मेरो टिमहरुलाई सोध्दाखेरि can you give me data भन्दा हेर्दैन के. अब हुनु चाहिँ इन्स्टाग्राममा गाह्रो पनि छ किनकि लिङ्क पोस्ट गर्न मिल्दैन पोस्टमा. बायोमा मिल्छ या यु हेभ टु पोस्ट इन अ स्टोरी. तर मैले भन्न खोजेको एटलिस्ट इन्फ्लुएन्सर हायर गर्दाखेरि एटलिस्ट नो विच मार्केट युआर टार्गेटिङ, हु इज द्याट इन्फ्लुएन्सर पपुलर अमङ. टिकटकले डेटा दिन्छ, फेसबुकले डेटा दिन्छ. स्टार्ट फ्रम देयर भन्न खोजेँ कि. आई नो डेटा इज भेरी भेरी डिफिकल्ट टु गेट यु ह्यान्ड्स अन इन नेपाल, तर छँदै छैन भन्न नखोजे होइन कि. अनि लाइक आई सेड, इफ यु वान्ट टु लर्न, लिभ द टिआरपी एन्ड अल अफ द्याट अलोन. You can still research and try to understand how can we leverage data to a certain extent.
यो मार्केटिङमा मैले मान्छेहरूलाई बुझाउन नसकेको एउटा कुरा चाहिँ के भन्दाखेरि, इट्स नट अबाउट हाउ मेनी पिपल आर वाचिङ यु, इट्स अबाउट इट्स नट अबाउट हाउ मेनी भ्युज यु हेभ बिन गेटिङ सो फार होइन. नो बडी क्वेसन वाट काइन्ड अफ भ्युज, वाट काइन्ड अफ पिपल आर वाचिङ अस भन्ने कुरा त कसैले क्वेसनै गर्दैन होइन. इट्स लाइक इफ यु वान सेल अ बियर, अर इफ यु वान सेल लेट्स से एउटा 1.5-2 लाखको क्यामेरा होइन, त्यसको टार्गेट अडियन्स र होइन बियरको टार्गेट अडियन्स या एउटा कुनै क्लोदिङको टार्गेट अडियन्स त ह्युज फरक हुन्छ नि त, एकदमै डिटेलमा नुआन्सेसमा कुरा गर्ने हुने होइन. त्यो कुरा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क नेपाल इज सच मेबी आई डोन्ट नो यो टिआरपी नभएर एकदमै भ्युज ड्रिभन हो कि यति भ्युज छ हामीसँग भनेर होइन. अनि आई डोन्ट गेट द्याट. अर्को कुरा चाहिँ मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि, आई डोन्ट नो तिमी वुड यु अग्री अर नट, टिकटकको भ्युज र लिङ्कडिनको भ्युज मेरो लागि एकदमै स्टार्क अपोजिट हो क्या होइन. रिल्सको भ्युज र युट्युबको भ्युज मेरो लागि एकदम स्टार्क अपोजिट हो होइन. त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क इट्स वान अफ माई स्ट्रगल टु कन्भिन्स पिपल कि इट्स नट अबाउट हाउ मेनी पिपल आर वाचिङ यु. आई थिङ्क इट्स मोर अबाउट वाट काइन्ड अफ पिपल आर वाचिङ यु, डिपेन्डिङ अन द काइन्ड अफ प्रोडक्ट यु वान सेल या इन्टिग्रेट होइन नि. त्यो चाहिँ आई थिङ्क वी आर देयर. त्यो अब त्यसरी कम्प्लेन पनि गर्न खोजे होइन होइन. अब टाइम लाग्ला, अझै 2-3 वर्ष 3-4 वर्ष लाग्ला. तिमीलाई के लाग्छ, क्विक क्वेसन, इन्डियाको कन्टेक्स्ट र नेपालको कन्टेक्स्टमा हेर्दाखेरि हामी कति वर्ष पछाडि छौँ होला?
5 years. But let me just add on to what you said. Right? Now, you're absolutely right. And त्यसैले पनि as a marketer, like as someone who's led marketing and branding for a few years now, कस्तो छ भने, you're absolutely right. Virality is not something you should aim for, okay? As a company especially. As an individual, it still makes sense to a certain extent because that's how you get paid, right? Here, your rate increases depending. But as a company, like you said, that's why you really need to be clear with your objective. Like, what are you trying to achieve? तपाईले धेरै views पाएर तपाईले के गर्न खोज्नु भयो, त्यो त्यसको कन्भर्जन भइरहेछ कि छैन. सो एट दराज हामीले अफ कोर्स वी वर्क विथ डेली एक्टिभ युजर्स. सो मार्केटिङको हाम्रो केपिआई भनेको डेली एक्टिभ युजर्स हुन्छ. तर वान बिग स्ट्रेटेजिक शिफ्ट द्याट्स ह्यापनिङ इन दराज इज वी आर टकिङ अबाउट कन्भर्जन्स, वी आर टकिङ अबाउट रिटेन्सन. That is a much better score than your daily active users. Compared to last year, compared to month on month, is your retention increasing? Is your conversion increasing? So that's extremely important. So what, like you said, Annie, as you mentioned, so I did start, content creation was extremely daunting to me. Like I find it so easy to do it for companies. But personally, of course, there's a lot of insecurities, which I'm sure most of you will relate with. Of course, you have your own insecurities. But you're right. Like I started posting videos on LinkedIn, and there are right people who've reached out to me. Like you might look at it and say, "Oh, she only has 2,000 views." Right now, LinkedIn
2,000 views on LinkedIn is crazy.
Thank you. I'll take that. Oh, you know, it's a great. But you're right. Like TikTok, one of my videos, So I talked about racism, as you know. I talk about most of my experiences because I genuinely feel that you can't grow as a professional unless you're growing personally as well. So one of my videos on TikTok has about 93,000 views now. It's about racism. That video compared to my 2,000 views video on LinkedIn have stark difference, like you said. What has the 93,000 video done for me? If you ask me, nothing tangible. There's nothing, not one person that I can talk to you about that will say, okay, त्यो video हेरेर, that's what you contacted me because of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I have talked to at least 5 thought leaders. I'm calling you one as well, so take it. So 5 thought leaders in India, like India ma pani, I met one of the VPs of ex-VP of Sony Live through LinkedIn. Okay? That's important. You're touching base with the right people. So like you said, that 2,000, that ROI that it's given me is incredible. So same for the companies. Okay? Like Daraz ko, that strategic shift is a huge sign for you. Stop aiming for virality and talk about conversions and ROIs, and quality is more important than quantity any day.
True. I think यसमा मलाई एड गर्न मन लागेको कुरा चाहिँ मैले कसरी बुझिरहेको छु भन्दाखेरि कन्टेन्टलाई चाहिँ दुईटा फर्ममा बुझ्छु कि एउटा चाहिँ रिलेसनशिप बेस्ड कन्टेन्ट, एउटा चाहिँ आइडिया बेस्ड कन्टेन्ट. फर इक्जाम्पल लेट्स से अ भेरी फेमस सेलिब्रिटी इज डुइङ ब्लग्स. मान्छेले किन हेरिरहेको छ भन्दाखेरि बिकज एउटा रिलेसनशिप बेस्ड भएको छ त्यो सेलिब्रिटीसँग, एन्ड पिपल रियली वान्ट टु नो उसले के खान्छ, के लाउँछ, कसरी सोच्छ होइन. त्यो रिलेसनसिप हो नि त होइन. अनि त्यो इन्फ्लुएन्सरले पनि हामीले नेपालीमा भन्छौँ नि भजाको, आफ्नो रिलेसनसिप भजाको हो कि, भजाको एज इन लाइक क्यास आउट गरेको होइन.
Learned a new word today.
So in your ब्रान्डको कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क इट्स नट अबाउट रिलेसनसिप, इट्स मोर अबाउट आइडिया बेस्ड कन्टेन्ट. जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल चाहिँ दराजको कन्टेक्स्टमा इज टु इम्पावर मोर अन्टरप्रेन्योर्स थ्रु इकम. आई थिङ्क द्याट्स एन आइडिया राइट. सो त्यसमा चाहिँ मान्छेले त्यो हुन्छ नि. अनि जेनरली यसो इन्टरनेटमा हेर्ने भने चाहिँ रिलेसनसिप बेस्ड कन्टेन्ट आर मोर भाइरल कि, बिकज आई थिङ्क पिपल आर मोर इन्ट्रेस्टेड इन सम वान एल्स लाइफ होइन, के भइरहेको छ, के गरिरहेको छ, देन आइडियामा त इट्स अबाउट एन आइडिया. अनि सो त्यो त्यसमा पनि आई थिङ्क यो भाइरलिटीको कन्टेक्स्ट क्या तिमीले दामी भन्यो कि भाइरलिटी सुड नट बी समथिङ यु सुड बी एमिङ फर अनलेस तिम्रो अब इन्टेन्सन नै भाइरल भएर त्यसलाई चाहिँ क्यास आउट गर्ने भन्ने कुरा हो कि होइन भनेर. अनि यो कुरामा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क अबको दिनमा चाहिँ जुन दराजले निकालेको छ नि यो एफिलिएट मार्केटिङ होइन, आई थिङ्क त्यो चाहिँ एकदमै धेरै इन्फ्लुएन्सरहरू सक हुनेवाला छन् जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई, कुन पर्सपेक्टिभबाट. नट ट्राइङ टु बी नेगेटिभ होइन, तर मिलियन्स अफ रिच, बट देन इफ यु क्यान नट कन्भर्ट होइन थ्रु एफिलिएट मार्केट, बिकज नाउ यु क्यान मेक मनी थ्रु एफिलिएट राइट. सो इफ यु क्यान नट कन्भर्ट, आई थिङ्क यु एज एन इन्फ्लुएन्सर सुड बी आस्किङ क्वेसन कि एम आई इन्फ्लुएन्सिङ इनफ. Just because I have a million reach, just because I have a million views, if I'm not being able to, किन अब त कहीँ नभएको त आयो नि त नेपालमा एफिलिएट भन्ने कुरा होइन. अनि त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क अ लट अफ मेबी यो दराजको दामी मार्केटिङ हुन्छ होला होइन, लट अफ इन्फ्लुएन्सर या साइन अप फर एफिलिएट मार्केटिङ होइन, एन्ड सी इफ यु हेभ बिन एबल टु इन्फ्लुएन्स इनफ or not.
Yeah, I mean, affiliate is like Nepal's context. It's extremely new because Daraz is the first company to do it.
It's the only company. Just like
if there is anyone else, I don't know about it. So if there is, please do comment in the video. Yes, please do. Affiliate को अलिकति understanding दिनु पर्दाखेरि चाहिँ affiliate मा चाहिँ you get paid when someone clicks on the link and then there is a conversion that happens as a result, and you're absolutely right.
So I think यसलाई अझै डिमिस्टिफाई गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ फर इक्जाम्पल हाम्रो एउटा सर्टन भ्यू छ दराजमा यो माइक पाउँछ र मैले चाहिँ आई बट दिस माइक फ्रम दराज, तल लिङ्क छ भनेर त्यो एउटा कस्टम लिङ्क मैले राख्दिएँ र मान्छेले एक्चुअली त्यो लिङ्क युज गरेर दराजमा गएर केही सामान किन्यो भने आई गेट अ कमिसन होइन त. सो इट्स लाइक एडिसनल रेभेन्यू सोर्स फर अ इन्फ्लुएन्सर या क्रिएटर. Okay, I'm just trying to demystify to one audience.
No, you're absolutely, you explained that in simple but very effective terms, and that's what it is, and you're absolutely right. Like there are influencers, tapaile influencer matro bhaera, I don't think you're challenging yourself enough, and like you said, are you influencing enough? If people are just watching and commenting, can you really turn them into fans, like actual fans, which is what we talk about with brands? That's what we aim for, right? We want fans for our brand. So that is true, and we are the first to do it, and I'm very excited because I think it is an incredible, like it is a long-term solution and also a long-term source of income for you. So as an influencer, तपाईले एउटा ब्रान्डसँग कतिवटा डिल्स गर्नुहुन्छ वर्षको, how many deals come your way, and if you really want to make your life, like your career as an influencer successful, तपाईले एउटा example दिनु पर्दा one of the thought leaders I follow from India is Ankur Wareko. So if you see Ankur Wareko, he actually makes LinkedIn ko carousel posts, and also on Instagram he makes reels. That's just, he has his own website, of course, he has multiple platforms. He is an Amazon affiliate, okay? And that's one of, like Ankur Wareko, if you see his content, he has business leaders and thought leaders follow him, okay? So that is like a great sign for you to try to understand. So if you're interested in affiliate marketing, definitely look it up and see how big it is around the world, and there is a possibility that you could be a part of that.
And I think as a creator, just for example, creator economy ma chai ahilesamma as a creator is you are very much dependent on brands to sponsor you, to fund you, हैन? अनि programs like such, I think you next level evolution होस् त लाग्छ मलाई creator economy. So can I sell my own product and use affiliate link to sell my own product?
No, you can't. Of course they are TN. Always. Asterisk, TNCs apply.
Okay, good. Interesting. So, just for example, what are the ambitious marketing goals that you guys are planning within Daraz, if I can ask? Kehi testo like huncha ni? Kina bhanda feri chai मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दा फेरि जस्तै you are one of those person मैले अहिलेसम्म भेटेकोमा चाहिँ very like peculiar या very के भन्ने तिम्रो अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ मलाई बवाल लाग्छ कि बेस्ड अन अहिलेसम्म मैले हामीले we have got an opportunity to
how to butter up a guest with Anup.
La so मैले भन्न खोजेको चाहिँ because I really like तिम्रो perspective on marketing and branding based on अहिलेसम्म मैले तिमीसँग कुरा गरेको कन्टेक्स्टमा हैन. So any के भन्छ big hefty things that we'll get to see in days to come. तर त्यो भन्दा भन्दै I also know कि अब Daraz is a very campaign focus हैन. एकदमै यो 5-6 वटा क्याम्पेन त तिमीले चारैतिर नै गर्दिन्छौ. त्यो 11 त 11 12 त अब you see it everywhere. So त्यही नै हो कि beside that अरु कुराहरु पनि प्लानहरु भइराको छ.
Well, I mentioned that I think when you that's one of the things that I was trying to talk about. When you say marketing, like if I tell you we have ambitious goals, your expectation is to see something at a consumer level. Okay, brand भनेको it's not a strategic thing. Okay? Like मैले अघि भने जस्तै तिम्रो daily active users बाट monthly active users को मात्र focus पनि it's a huge shift. It's a very ambitious shift. It's very difficult for an e-commerce company that has foreign investment to actually have that focus because you are KPI driven and you are driven in the sense like day on day kati cha ta, how much are you reaching. So if I was to tell you the ambitious goal is to be long term, and I'm someone who's always believed you don't run sprints with branding, you run a marathon. That's what you have to prepare for. That's the biggest shift that is happening in Daraz right now, and that is my attempt to, and we all understand it, tara to business level ma garda it's always difficult. Okay? Like almost like relationship. I call branding and entrepreneurship like a relationship. You have to think of the long term. And I think you reach a point where it's not just about that one date. It is about, can I see a long term with this person? But it's the same thing with branding as well. So that's the biggest shift. But at a consumer level, will you see a huge impact of Daraz? Probably not. But is there something like, is it a great shift that's happening with the company? Absolutely. So that is the biggest shift. It is about becoming more long term, and we are aiming to run a marathon this year, not a sprint.
Ever since you marketplace को concept आइसकेपछि मलाई कस्तो पनि लाग्छ भन्दा फेरि चाहिँ अब हुन त it's a foreign company हैन, तर regardless जुन नेपालको consumer psychology नै चेन्ज गरेर आएको छ कि अब I remember यो लकडाउनमा my dad gave me a piece of paper with 5 things and he was like online बाट मगान भनेर के जब कि माई ड्याड इज लाइक सबै कुरा छाप्नुपर्छ सुन्नुपर्छ होइन गएर चेक गर्नुपर्छ टाइपको वाला मान्छे होइन. अनि त्यो कन्ज्युमर साइकोलोजीमा चेन्ज चाहिँ आई थिङ्क Daraz हेज प्लेड अ बिग रोल. मेरो लागि चाहिँ कस्तो मैले मार्केट प्लेसलाई चाहिँ कसरी पनि हेर्न खोजिरहेको छु भन्दाखेरि मेबी Daraz इज अल्सो वान अफ पोटेन्सियल टु ग्रो सो मेनी मोर अन्टरप्रेन्योर्स के. बिकज पसल त काठमाडौँको त कुना कुनामा छ नि होइन. किराना पसलको कुरा गर्ने भन्दा हामी कति देख्छौँ नि त होइन. अनि त्यो पर्सपेक्टिभबाट सोचिन्छ यो ब्रान्डिङ बिजनेस बिल्डिङ गर्दाखेरि या इन्टरनली कन्भर्सेसनमा चाहिँ वी आर एक्चुअली हियर टु इम्पावर स्मल स्केल अन्टरप्रेन्योर्स टु बाई गिभिङ देम अ होल जुन टेक बिल्ड गर्नको लागि नै आई थिङ्क त्यो यदि इफ आई वान बिल्ड द्याट कस्टम टेक मेरो जिन्दगीभरिको अर्निङ लाग्न सक्छ कि होइन. त्यो लेभल अफ सोफिस्टिकेटेड छ नि त. सो त्यो कन्टेक्समा त्यो पर्सपेक्टिभबाट पनि सोच्छौ तिमीहरूले?
नो एब्सोल्युटली. आई थिङ्क त्यो बिगेस्ट मिसअन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ भन्ने भन्छ नि, ओ माई गॉड आई स अ भिडियो अन टिकटक आई थिङ्क टुडे, त्यसमा के भन्छ टाइटानिक Daraz भर्जन भनेर आएको थियो कि तपाईँहरूले ह्यासट्याग Daraz गरेर गर्नु भन्छ भने ट्रस्ट मी माई टिम एन्ड आई वी डु फाइन्ड इट एन्ड वी वाच इट एन्ड वी हेभ अ गुड लाफ. Key misunderstanding छ भने sometimes consumers think that we sell it, like Daraz is the seller. We're not. We are the channel where it is a marketplace. Marketplace भने के हो, where sellers and consumers come together. We create an ecosystem. So of course, like as branding को सबैभन्दा important चिज भनेको sellers पनि हाम्रो customers हुनुहुन्छ कि. So Darazमा एउटा प्रोग्राम छ सहयात्री प्रोग्राम भन्ने. There is a new initiative happening this year as well, where we're not charging marketplace fee for budding entrepreneurs. 3 months matter. There's another one where we're tying up with NGOs, INGOs to waiver it for an entire year. So this initiatives are
so जो NGO INGO जो चाहिँ आफै सस्टेनेबल हुन खोजिरहेको छ by selling products, त्यसको लागि छुट्टै एउटा पोलिसी छ.
हजुर, so we're working on that at the moment.
Nice.
So तर कस्तो भने I think when consumers buy it, तपाईहरुले हुन्छ नि मैले यो ग्लास मगाएको थिएँ दराजबाट, it's like a short glass that came. So there of course there are a lot of reality versus expectation. तर त्यही हो, I mean our job is to support sellers. Of course quality control is huge for us. I mean one of the things we're really trying with the branding initiative and strategy this year is to educate customers on the attempt that we make. I will tell you hands down, Daraz actually has one of the best customer services in Nepal. At Daraz, we call you. There is an entire customer service unit led by an incredible person, and like the team is amazing. The SOP is elaborate, like you would, and I think there are two main things that are happening in branding this year. Customer education is number one, which you wouldn't think is part of branding, but like I said, it is. And is a consumer going to see it? Yes and no. The customer education is number one, and second is we want to focus on transparency, which is brought about by thought leadership. Thought leadership, we want to share data with people, like you said, entrepreneurs are like we share data.
Very interesting. यो कुरा चाहिँ जस्तै for example अब हुन त यो जुन तिमीले customer service को कुरा भन्यौ, I think I will be able to validate it in couple of months because one of our brand has हामी onboard हुन खोजिरहेको छौँ दराजमा हैन. अनि मलाई चाहिँ दराजसँग कुरा गर्दा फेरि अब सुरुको त्यो अब I was as a very technical person मैले कति धेरै क्वेशनहरु सोधेको थिएँ. One of my question was जस्तै for example नेपालको यो फुड कमर्समा चाहिँ हैन, फुड कमर्सले रेस्टुरेन्ट ओनरलाई चाहिँ आफ्नो कस्टमरको इमेल एड्रेसहरु फोन नम्बरहरु दिदैन के. अनि मैले दराजको रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभसँग चाहिँ I asked them कि do you provide यो डेटा भन्दा we provide. I was like nice हैन, किन त्यो डेटाले त हामीलाई इम्पावर गर्ने हो नि त एज एन एन्टरप्रेन्योर. त्यो कुरा चाहिँ आई जस्ट वान अप कि त्यो चाहिँ खतरा नै हो, किन भन्दा फेरि यु गाइज क्यान स्टिल बी नट बी ट्रान्सपरेन्ट बिकज नेपालको वरिपरि यो फुड कमर्समा हेर्दा त फुड कमर्स आर नट ट्रान्सपरेन्ट विथ देयर भेन्डर्स के हैन. जस्तै अब मेरो त जावलाखेलमा रेस्टुरेन्ट छ, मैले कुनै एबिसी फुड कमर्सबाट अर्डर आइरहेको छ, मेबी त्यो अर्डर यति मेरो बुढानी कण्ठबाट आइरहेको छ भने त्यो डेटा मैले पाएँ भने त नाउ आई क्यान ओपन अ ब्रान्च इन बुढानी कण्ठ नि त. त्यो डेटा छैन डिप्रेसिङली हैन. तर अनि दराजले चाहिँ त्यो लेभल अफ डेटा ट्रान्सपरेन्ट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ nice, you guys are really for the entrepreneurs भन्ने चाहिँ एउटा फिल भयो.
But one thing I wanted to clarify, we do not publicly share customer information, so we are huge on data protection. So
तर म एज एन एन्टरप्रेन्योर इफ आई एम सेलिङ अ क्याप इन दराज, त्यो त कसले किन्यो, कहाँ छ, कुन इमेल एड्रेस, त्यो त मलाई थाहा हुन्छ नि हैन.
So that you do, because for delivery you do have that information. So there are a few shops that actually paying about a delivery हुन्छ नि त हाम्रो, so त्यो सर्भिस छ. But we do not provide like customer information because like we are huge on customer data protection. But
customer information भनेको चाहिँ के
customer information भनेको we don't just provide publicly तपाईको नाम, like for example Anup lives here and then this is his number, email address, त्यो चाहिँ provide गर्दैन. But what I mean by
email address provide गर्छ तिमीहरुले गर्दैन?
Only to sellers, only if they've bought it from you. In
of
that
course,
case. But one disclaimer, I'm not the data expert. I'm not the one who looks after it. But when I talk about branding specific data sharing, this year what we want to do is like 11/11 you actually know how much we sold in that day. What was the business size? How many customers did we work with? What are the orders we closed? That information you get. But like I said, what we're trying to do when it comes to thought leadership is we are planning a Daraz summit happening in June. That is going to be about marketers talking, one of the topics we are brainstorming right now, so don't quote me on this, but we want to talk about what's wrong with marketing. And I want to get, and all of us in the team, we want people who talk about what's wrong and what's right. People are really passionate across. So we want to talk about customer service. We want to talk about...
Can I suggest a topic?
Sure.
Please include why marketers are poor on marketing themselves. And that is a question to you. Why do you think marketers are poor? आफूले marketing रे आफ्नो whole काम अनि आफूलाई marketing गर्न फेरि हामी कमजोर छौँ. किन जस्तो लाग्छ तिमीलाई?
Insecurity.
कस्तो insecurities, like in what terms?
I cannot speak for all marketers. Let me speak for myself. It's easier to hide behind people, right? त्यो भनेको मतलब imagine if I am marketing for Doers, right? मैले Doers लाई I need to increase viewership. It's easy. If Doers fails tomorrow, will it be a personal failure for me? To some extent, yes. To some extent, no. If I have to put my face there, like which is what happened, right? So I have worked with brands where we've reached like a ridiculous amount of following. New company following is great. Best Buy थियो त्यो भन्दा पहिला Vodafone I was working for before that. But when I started doing it, imagine the fear of, we are governed by fear as people, right? What are people going to say? What are people going to think about you? So मैले एउटा video post गर्दाखेरि, imagine I only have 5 views. Oh my God, like I was the CEO of New. मेरो 5 जनाले video हेरो, what are people going to think? I'm such a failure, I suck, I better delete it. Or people are going to say, तपाईं आफूले the market. I genuinely think it's not a marketer thing. I think it's a human thing to be insecure about what people will say, what people will think. To be honest, if you really let go of that fear and you're okay with, because brands also started that way, you know, and it's always easier for a company to get a lot of followers compared to a person.
I disagree. Why do you think so?
Because it's true. Because I've experimented with it and I have data to back it up. So I have worked with a couple of individuals and companies at the same time. Same content post गरेर company को चाहिँ सजिलो किन भने people don't think I have to follow you. Okay? Company को चाहिँ it could be multiple things. होइन? Take Daraz for example. Look at Daraz को followers.
Because you guys have invested so much.
Before that, even in the beginning. Okay? But I was just talking about data in general. Nepal को specifically यो case studies I गरेको छैन. I'm talking about India as well. Yeah. Like it was easier for Nykaa even when it started to garner the amount of followers that they did than compared to the influencers that Nykaa worked with. Okay? So we also in India we work with a lot of nano and micro plus macro influencers. So we do work with small size influencers. 2,000 followers भएको मान्छेहरुसँग पनि L'Oreal will send their PR package.
यो micro influencer भन्ने is quite trending के किन भन्दा फेरि त्यो सधैँ त्यही त niche influencers भन्छ नि. जस्तै for example if you want to के भन्छ FMCG product हो mass virality चाहिएको छ भने definitely you need एकदमै ठुलठुलो influencers हैन. तर let's say if you are selling insurance packages and you have an influencer with 2,000 followers who creates content around personal finance, I think त्यो मान्छे चाहिँ बेटर भयो नि त एक किसिमले हेर्दाखेरि त्यो भयो होला. तर I disagree अघि तिमीले भनेको कन्टेक्स्टमा किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हैन. I think you
about insecurity.
No. I one up on that. हैन insecurities context मा त्यो पर्सनल ब्रान्डिङ को कन्टेक्स्ट मा चाहिँ अघिकै कुरा के पर्सनल ब्रान्डिङ मा चाहिँ because you are selling relationship भजाउँछौ नि त तिमीले पर्सनल रिलेसनशिप हैन. त्यसले गर्दा फेरि चाहिँ इन्डिभिजुअल को लेभलमा चाहिँ we mostly create content about our personal experiences के ब्रान्ड को कन्टेक्स्ट मा चाहिँ I think it's about an idea जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ है. So त्यो पर्सपेक्टिभमा चाहिँ I think it's consistently गर्यो भने त it's building personal brand should be much easier than building a business brand जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. I don't know. But
no, there's so many factors to that. Right? Your insecurity भनेको चाहिँ why are marketers so bad at marketing themselves भनेको with brands what do? You go into the why do you exist, mission, vision. You have a whole team talking about these things. When it's about you have to self-reflect. And self-reflection is daunting.
Yes, it is.
Right? It's like you're asking, what am I passionate about? What do I hate? What am I scared of? You are asking all these questions and it is daunting. But the other thing is also, you have a whole team of people thinking about what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. With you, it's just you.
But I think you have tackled your insecurities quite well. I see you quite active on TikTok and LinkedIn. एकदमै खतरा लाग्छ मलाई तिम्रो कन्टेन्टहरु.
Giggles. TikTok man I actually share just what I share on LinkedIn. Like I said, to कुन चाहिँ भिडियो कहाँ काम गर्छ मलाई थाहा छैन. Like if you ask me to racism को भिडियोमा why was I able to cross 90,000 views? I have zero answers for you. I genuinely don't. But the same video I posted on LinkedIn, it has about 23 comments. Okay? And it is consistent relatively. LinkedIn ma I get like consistency. Okay? There is an average that I can give you. TikTok ma I've literally gone from 300 to 90,000 to 2,000. Okay? It's like very.
So what made you come out of your insecurities? TikTok ma I think you're quite new. धेरै वर्ष TikTok ma upload गर्न थालेको हैन.
Not at all.
Someone with decades of experience around branding and marketing. अब के भयो त out of nowhere now you are here in TikTok, now you are very active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn मा त पहिलेदेखि एक्टिभ थियो. तर अहिले वाला एक्टिभ र पहिले वाला एक्टिभ इज stark difference. अहिले त एकदमै लाइक
I post videos also.
सो के भयो त त्यस्तो मतलब यु आफ्नो इन्सिक्युरिटीलाई साइड लगाएर नाउ हियर लुक एट मी
Okay, well, number one was age. I think I'm aging and I give less, a word I shouldn't be using here. I really don't care about what people think as much anymore. I won't say zero. There's a huge demon that I still have to deal with. अर्को चाहिँ कस्तो भन्दा कोभिड हुँदाखेरि म मुम्बईको अपार्टमेन्टमा एक्लै थिएँ क्या 7 महिना 7 महिना द ओन्ली ह्युमन कन्ट्याक्ट आई ह्याड वाज विथ सिक्युरिटी गार्ड दाइले माथि सामान ल्याइदिनुहुन्थ्यो त्यति हो अनि देख्थ्यो अनि थ्याङ्क यू दाइ भन्थ्यो सक्यो but and then what happened in that 7 months is, and this is going to sound really bizarre and it probably won't make sense, but I meditate. Ani ma kaile ekdam I have this epiphany. I read a lot. And I had this epiphany that, can you imagine Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama and I breathe the same air? Technically it's true.
True.
They're breathing the same air that I am. And it sounds so stupid, but I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. So I got so excited. So I was like, man, if they breathe the same air, relatively drink the same water, I mean, water is still debatable. Whatever they did, why can't I do it? And if I am really to reach a point in my life where I can preach, I need to practice it. And I always believe that leadership is mentorship. I don't think any leader who thinks that they're not going to be a mentor is a true leader. So my mentor gardaheri, that's what I tell people, right? Like, you have to fight your fears, go out there, dream big. And I was like, why am I not doing that for myself? So त्यो कारणले पनि हो. So COVID मा के भयो भने the world felt really small in some ways. No matter where you were in the world at that point, you were suffering in the same way. The immensity of the suffering might have been different because people did lose people, but we all were suffering. So it just felt so small, and it just gave me a lot of courage to fight my insecurity. So it was an epiphany for me.
So I think your podcast हेरिसकेपछि I think हाम्रो अब टन्नै मार्केटर्सहरूले हेर्छ होला होइन.
Hopefully
watch it. So तिमीलाई लाग्छ I think every marketer should come out of their comfort zone and start creating personal brand around what they do, what they preach, what they practice. So लाग्छ तिमीलाई? So I think every marketer should start working on their personal branding.
Actually, no, I wouldn't say that. And not just marketer, right? Do what makes you happy.
Oh, kasto vague answer.
No, I'll tell you why. If you think you're running this rat race, like, जुन सबैजनाले गरिरहेछ मैले पनि गर्नुपर्छ. Like, for example, सबैजनाले टिकटक बनाउँछ मैले पनि बनाउनुपर्छ भन्ने जरुरी नै छैन के. I wouldn't push you to do that. तर कस्तो भन्दा तपाईले मन लाग्छ के. Like most of us, like I'll talk about girls, we like looking pretty, right? Like we like putting that effort. Not 100%, but if you do it, तपाईले मेकअप गर्नु मन पर्छ गर्नुस्. Like don't let that small voice in your head that says garam na, let's at least try it. If you have any one of you feels like there is a voice that tells you garam, don't let your insecurity or fear of what other people might think about you, don't let that stop you. So not all marketers, but if there is a marketer out there, anyone, you could be in finance. Look at some of the people who are trending in Nepal. Are they all marketers? Not at all. You have lawyers. You have a lot of different professions that are active. So it's not just about marketer. Tapaiko manma, tapaiko dimagma kunai euta sano voice that says, you know what, I want to try this, but there's insecurity stopping you. That you should definitely come out of your comfort zone. But if this is something you absolutely don't want to do, like someone who's a director bonum na, you might not be comfortable coming in front of the camera. You must just love direction. Do you have to come in front of the camera? Absolutely not. So yeah.
तर मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्ने भन्दा फेरि फर समवन यो पडकास्ट चाहिँ आई थिङ्क 2019 बाट सुरु गरेको आइडिया चाहिँ इन्सेप्सन 2018 मा थियो. आई स्टार्टेड वर्किङ फ्रम 2011 हैन. अनि एउटा 2018 सम्म चाहिँ एकदम कुकुनमा बसेर काम गरे जस्तो लाग्थ्यो कि भन्छ कसलाई पनि थाहा छैन त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा हैन. अनि नाउ द्याट आई स्टार्टेड कमिङ आउट सोइङ माई फेस, फाइदा चाहिँ धेरै फाइदा गर्दो रहेछ हैन. त्यो एउटा एक्सेसिबिलिटी चाहिँ खोलिदिँदो रहेछ, कतिपय नखुलिएको ढोका खोल्दो रहेछ कि. अनि आजकल चाहिँ अब अफकोर्स डेफिनेटली यु सुड डु वाट मेक्स यु ह्याप्पी होइन. इफ दिस इज समथिङ द्याट डज नट मेक यु ह्याप्पी डोन्ट डु इट. तर पर्सनल ब्रान्डिङमा चाहिँ अलिकति पर्सनल ब्रान्डिङ अघिकै कुरा के, अब पर्सनल ब्रान्डिङमा कन्टेन्ट क्रिएटको भाइरलै हुनुपर्छ भन्ने छैन कि. त्यो 500 भ्युज आइरहेको छ, 50 भ्युज आइरहेको छ, 100 भ्युज आइरहेको छ, तर तिमीले भनिरहेको कुराहरू तिमीले टार्गेट गर्न खोजिरहेको मान्छेहरूलाई एकैजनाले सुनिरहेको छ भने पनि आई थिङ्क इट ओपन्स अ लट अफ डोर्स जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. अनि अर्को चाहिँ आई थिङ्क नेपाल कस्तो कन्टेक्स्टमा छ कि जहाँ चाहिँ थट लिडर्सहरू छैनन्. होइन आई थिङ्क रङ पिपल आर फेमस जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई कहिले भन्न त हुँदैन
कन्ट्रोभर्सियल
या इट माइट गो भाइरल तर मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि आई थिङ्क पर्सनल ब्रान्डिङ इज इम्पोर्टेन्ट होइन अनि यति करियरमा लागिरहेको छौ दौडिरहेको छौ केही गर्न खोजिरहेको छौ होइन एम्बिसियस छौ भने चाहिँ ट्रस्ट मी दिस थिङ विल ओपन अ लट अफ डोर्स द्याट विल मेक अ लट अफ थिङ्स मच इजियर के देन सम वान विथ नो डिजिटल फुटप्रिन्ट भन्छु म चाहिँ होइन अनि म चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्छ अनि आई थिङ्क मार्केटिङ होस् अनि आई थिङ्क एकदमै राइटली पुट मार्केटिङ मात्र किन होइन जे भए पनि आफ्नो इन्डस्ट्रीमा अहिले एउटा के भनाइ छ भन्दाखेरि एभ्री कम्पनी हेज टु एक्ट लाइक अ मिडिया कम्पनी रे के होइन यु हेभ टु स्टार्ट क्रिएटिङ कन्टेन्ट अराउन्ड यु निस त्यस्तै आई थिङ्क एभ्री ह्युमन बिङ हेज टु एक्ट लाइक अ somehow the other should act like a media company if you want to achieve things faster, better with more networks. I think definitely आफूलाई मन लागेको कुरा आफूले विश्वास गर्ने thoughts, beliefमा चाहिँ if you can start creating content, I tell you, it might open a lot of doors that you have.
It will, for sure. The one person that I forgot to mention, and someone who like मैले अघि जस्तै leadership is mentorship भन्ने the point that I made, I really, really believe in that. So कस्तो भने for me होइन काम गर्दा चाहिँ it's been difficult to find mentors really. Also because I've moved around a lot. तर कस्तो भन्दाखेरि because like technology has opened so many doors for us, so I found digital mentors. Like I love Simon Sinek, I love Brene Brown, I love Gary Vee is someone that I follow a lot, and what you say Guruji ne ho. So Gary Vee ko content हेर्नु भयो भने he just motivate you to do, because one thing he says, like you said, content भन्दैमा there are so many forms of content. It doesn't have to be video, okay, which is what you see right now. So we talk about TikTok, right? Because but you know how many people read blogs in Nepal? There's a lot. Why do you think Kantipur is still one of the most expensive media like here? People read as well. People listen. There's podcast. So whatever you're comfortable with, it doesn't have to just be your face. Like some of the people on TikTok, there's one guy who just does poems. There's one guy who just does great photography and writes poems on top of it. Like you could do anything, but find your comfort zone. That's important. But you're absolutely right. Content is king, and video is also king, but that doesn't mean you have to do it. Like Gary Vee says, if you're comfortable writing, write a status on LinkedIn, write something that you feel very passionate about. That's it.
Just be more authentic, you know. I mean, like the very internet match, you can only fake so long just to like nege.
I wouldn't even say more authentic. Just be authentic. just start there. Oh man, authentic is also such a tricky word. It shouldn't be a fad word, and I think people have really lost what does being authentic mean? What does being authentic mean?
I think अहिले चाहिँ मलाई म जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल यो पडकास्टमा पनि होइन द आइडिया इज टु लेट्स गेट रियल हो क्या यो सिजनको ट्यागलाइन अनि अथेन्टिसिटी चाहिँ अहिले मलाई चाहिँ कसरी फिल भएको छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो भल्नरेबिलिटी हाइड नगर्ने के किन भन्दाखेरि कतिपय कन्टेक्समा इभन एज अ लिडर होइन एज समन हु इज रनिङ अ बिजनेस एज अ सिइओ कहिले काहीँ चाहिँ आफ्नो टिमको अगाडि विक हुन या आफ्नो टिमको अगाडि मैले यो गर्न सकेन भन्ने कुरा भन्न चाहिँ अप्ठ्यारो लाग्ने मान्छे हो कि म चाहिँ बरु सबै प्रेसरहरू गप्प लिदिन्छु होइन निल्दिन्छु अगाडि चाहिँ आइएम फाइन अल गुडवाला अपियर हुन्छु भन्ने टाइपको माइन्डसेटबाट चाहिँ म कसरी चेन्ज भइरहेको छु भन्दाखेरि आई थिङ्क यो अथेन्टिसिटी इट जस्ट डज नट हेल्प यु इन यर बिजनेस, इट्स अल्सो गिभ यु मोर स्पेस के भन्ने यो अथेन्टिसिटी प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुपर्ने कुरा रहेछ कि यो कतिपय कन्टेक्समा चाहिँ हुन्छ नि किन प्र्याक्टिस गर्नु पऱ्यो यु जस्ट हेभ टु बी यु भन्छ नि त होइन तर दे आर टाइम्स कि मैले भन्नु हुँदैन होला वाट विल पिपल थिङ्क मान्छेले के जज गर्छ होला भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ नि त होइन अनि मलाई चाहिँ यो वेन आई स्टार्टेड टु प्र्याक्टिस टु बी मोर अथेन्टिक होइन आई डोन्ट नो इफ आई एम पोलिटिकली करेक्ट यो भन्दाखेरि मलाई चाहिँ अलिकति सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्सन गर्दाखेरि आफूमा पनि त्यो आई थिङ्क आई हेभ बिकम अ मोर बेटर पर्सन जस्तो फिल हुन्छ किन भन्दाखेरि नाउ आई डोन्ट निड टु फेक थिङ्स के अनि त्यो हुनसाथ आई हेभ बिन एबल टु बिल्ड बेटर रिलेसनसिप विथ पिपल अराउन्ड होइन नट जस्ट विथ टिम्स इभन पडकास्टमा भेट्दाखेरि के कहिले काहीँ कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यु गो एन्ड सेड्युल छ एउटा मिटिङ होइन अनि त्यो के भन्नु त यार कसरी भन्नु त यार आई निड टु इम्प्रेस आई निड टु गेट द डेट्स आई निड टु दिस एन्ड द्याट भन्ने हुन्छ नि त होइन अनि पहिला हुन्थ्यो अहिले चाहिँ अब यु जस्ट बी एन्ड हुन्छ नि होइन आई स्टार्ट विथ हाउ वाज यो डे होइन अनि त्यसरी चाहिँ आई थिङ्क मलाई चाहिँ अथेन्टिसिटी टु बी मोर अथेन्टिक चाहिँ इट इज हेल्पिङ मी अ लट भइरहेको छ त्यो आफूमा फिल हुन्छ अनि आई थिङ्क दिस सिजन इट्स अल अबाउट गेटिङ मोर रियल लेट्स गेट रियल Tagline हो.
Nice. No, I agree with you. I think it's your truth at the moment and being okay with sharing that. Your truth could be anything at this moment. What is right? What is my truth? It's like I'm angry, I am, but that doesn't mean you don't keep it in check. Like you said, vulnerabilities. I mentioned I think there's so many like thought leaders that you mentioned as well earlier. So many thought leaders out there. Read up. It'll help you so much. Sometimes our life journey can feel very lonely. And we're all alone in this. Which is why you do need mentors in life that just encourage you. Like earlier when you said authenticity, because we've always, like, leadership has always been so masculine. And what is masculine? It's always like macho. It's not very sensitive. Alpha. It's not so alpha, someone who doesn't cry, someone who doesn't feel. It's changing so much. But how do you do it? When does that transition happen? So you do need to, like, I think, I feel about this very, very deeply, because I think if I am relatively successful in life, it's because I've constantly been learning. That's why you need to follow people like that. And Brene Brown, she talks about vulnerability a lot. She's written a book about it. She's one of the most popular TED Talks, and it is about that, right? Like you said, authentic भन्नेमा यो podcast हेरेर तपाई रातारात authentic हुने हैन. You won't even know how to fix it.
You need to feel it. I think भित्रैबाट त्यो feel चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ.
You do need to feel it. तर मेरो recommendation चाहिँ, if I was to give an advice to people on what has helped me, it's that I read up on these things and I just know that other people are going through the same journey that I am and that I'm not alone. So when you're trying to be authentic, because it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. So to bring that courage up, when I see the first video, मैले record गरिसक्दा LinkedIn को लागि यतिचोटि हेरेर मैले आफूले के भन्यो होला के छ्या कस्तो देखेको, look at my hair, look at what I'm saying, किन यसरी बोलेको, why am I saying this? Oh my god, the self, I call it the self, and like the auntie that lives rent free in my head. So मेरो त्यो आन्टी एकजना हुनुहुन्छ दिमागमा रेन्ट फ्री बस्नुहुन्छ, Pranayna आन्टी. It's like my alter ego is like extremely mean to me. I think we all have that. नि छैन किन त्यसो भनेको होला, like you go back and reflect. And I think it's important when we say be authentic, it's not easy, and I understand that. So find the right people and find the right people that you can watch and listen to as well. तपाईं टिकटकमा हुनुहुन्छ भने follow a few people who make you want to be better.
Follow Pranayna and you will see her dancing.
I don't dance that.
I know एउटा त्यो मलाई याद छ, त्यो Monday वाला हो के वाला भिडियोमा चाहिँ.
I used to say Monday, fun day, because it's my personality, right? That is me being authentic. I mean, you've met me now like 3 times. And you know, this is me. Okay? Like, you don't see a person online and see me and be like, oh my God, she's so different. I'm sure people in the office as well will be like, oh my God. I have a question for you.
Please.
Controversial question, like please. Rapid fire with Pranayna. Who's your favorite guest so far? And why?
Okay. कस्तो क्वेसन सोध्यो किन भन न, मेरो आन्सर के हुन्छ थाहा छ?
के?
My favorite guest so far is Aman Dai of Sasto Deal. Because I think one thing that उहाँले भनेको कुरा चाहिँ मलाई के
Why did you laugh after saying that?
Marketing head of Daraz and I'm talking कि मेरो favorite किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I think उहाँले भनेको कुरा चाहिँ मेरो एउटा के दिमागमा छ कि अनुप होपै त हुने हैन र, it's hope that we wake up to for everything वाला कुरामा चाहिँ नि on dark days के हो त, why do I come to office भन्दाखेरि because it's a hope कि tomorrow it's going to be a better day भन्ने कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ I think yeah my favorite guest is so far Aman Dai. तर मैले यस्तो भन्नु हुँदैन किन भन्दाखेरि every one of you who have been here, I love you because you have taught so many things. अर्को I think अघिको अथेन्टिसिटी वाला कुरालाई चाहिँ ऱ्यापअप गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हैन, मेरो लागि चाहिँ कस्तो भयो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I was not authentic for a reason कि I want to get accepted around my colleagues हैन, किन भन्दाखेरि म फेक भयो भने चाहिँ नि I can be like what everybody wants me to be, अनि त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ मेरो people will acknowledge me more भन्ने हुन्थ्यो. तर then later I realize कि किन भन्दाखेरि कोलिगसँग वरिपरिसँग जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ just not one impression they have with you कि यो त लामो इम्प्रेसन हो नि त, यो लामो ट्रस्टवाला कुरा हो नि त हैन, नि त्यो कुरा चाहिँ it's only possible to build through being more authentic हैन. अनि we are humans, we can थाहा हुन्छ कि अहिले फेक गर लङ टर्ममा चाहिँ एकचोटि मात्र भेटिरहेको छ भने त डेफिनेटली यु क्यान फेक थिङ्स, तर लङ फर्मसम्म वर्षौँसम्म काम गरेर आएको छ भने चाहिँ I think even with colleagues, friends, if you want to get more accepted, being authentic, there is no options beside being being more authentic जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ that's where I decided कि okay I think I need to loosen up, I need to be more real, I need to open up about my insecurities हैन नि त्यहाँ चाहिँ it has helped me a lot to be more authentic, to be more real.
You're right, but like one thing that's changed for me in terms of perception in life is it's not about the other people, it is about you, okay?
It is, but then when you're leading people, you definitely want to get like, you definitely want to get acknowledged. Okay?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you try to make a change within you, or you try to change something about you for others, there is always something that's going to be wrong about it, or it's going to be short term.
Not if the change is being more real. Okay?
No, you're right. I talk about insecurity a lot today because like right now, what I've recognized about myself is it is about insecurity. Like when you say, please like me, or I want to be accepted, it is about insecurity, right? Definitely, like I might not be accepted for who I am, but when you are authentic me, rather than other people accepting you, like you said, like long term, people will figure out you're not, you are happier with yourself. Okay? You don't go back and think about,
true.
Oh, why did I say that? So a lot of the changes that you should do for yourself is for yourself. Okay? In that sense, you don't do it for other people. And I think that is the biggest shift that's happened for me personally. I have stopped doing things for other people, and we always think that being selfish is the most horrible thing, but don't you have more to give to people when you have more for yourself? Like selfish like my mom is extremely selfless, and I used to think that's such a great thing. Like recently I had given a talk about mental health, and I always thought it was such a great thing for my mom to be so selfless, until I realized how much it had affected her as a result. Like I needed to learn to be selfish to actually be happier, because now I have more to give to other people. Like how do you give to someone else if you don't have it? Right? True. So I think even being authentic is you do it for yourself so you can be happy. And then people, as long as you accept you, people will accept you, and you'll be okay with that. You don't accept yourself, you're always going to be trying to figure it out.
Very true. Khatra. So I think हाम्रो podcast almost last ma आएको छ, this is going to be like I feel very important questions हैन. So एउटा कुरा चाहिँ जस्तै for example अघि सक्सेसको बारेमा कुरा हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ do you think I wish people will take it in a most positive way हैन. यदि if you were male हैन, do you think the amount of success that you have achieved so far would have been much higher?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. You'll hear me say this. छोरीबाट जन्मिनु गाह्रो रहेछ कि किन भन्दाखेरि सबकन्सियस बायस हुन्छ कि छोरीहरूलाई हैन. I'll give you मेरो कजनकै एक्जाम्पल कि बहिनीलाई दाइको प्लेट उठाएर लग्दियो भन्छ कि. अब कस्तो हुन्छ भने कस्तो उताउली, यो वर्ड छ नि इट्स अ नेगेटिभ कनोटेसन कि बढी नबोल. अनि कस्तो हुन्छ भने छोरीहरूलाई हैन, it could be your family or it could be what you see and hear. Okay? So it doesn't always have to be your mom and dad that are enforcing this on you. तिमी स्कुलमा जाँदाखेरि I remember स्कुलमा नेल पलिस लगायो भने पिटाइ खान्थ्यो, या यु नो लाइक अलिकति बढी बोल्यो भने स्कर्टको लेन्थको बारेमा इट्स अ लट अफ कन्भर्सेसन. लाइक बोइजहरूको युनिफर्मको it's so many things that add on to it. So I would have been more successful because I would have been so much more confident.
Are you not? I see you as a very confident woman.
No, I am, but I had to work on it very, very hard. Okay? Like it's something that I had to consciously build on. Like I know had I been a man, I would have been a lot more confident. Okay? I am still, I have my filter. तर त्यो कस्तो हो भने त्यही मैले भने नि उताउली नहो, बढी नबोल, यो यहाँ बस्ने हैन. I'll give you very simple. Most of the Nepali households, अहिले पनि कुनै फंक्सन हुँदाखेरि most moms, aunts, बुहारीहरूकै कुरा गरौँ हैन, मेरै फ्यामिलीमा भाउजूहरू आफ्नो माइतमा पनि घरमा भान्सामा काम गर्नुपर्छ, ससुरालीमा पनि भान्सामा काम गर्नुपर्छ कि where do they get rest? A husband when he goes to his ससुराली, oh my god भगवान के खानुहुन्छ अनि त यस्तो हो कि त्यसले कसरी इम्प्याक्ट पर्छ भने यो कन्फिडेन्ट नि, बिकज यु ट्रिटेड द्याट वे. फर अ वुमन इट्स लाइक if you don't know how to cook, don't you think we're still judged to a certain extent? And you might say no, but I would disagree. I think we're living in a rosy world where we think I'm a very confident woman. Yes, I am. I've had to work on it. A lot of it I owe to my parents as well. तर त्यो जुन चाहिँ त्यो bias हुन्छ जुन हामीले देख्दैनौँ त्यो त भइहाल्छ नि. There's so many times I've gone back home and I think like हामी अस्ट्रेलियामा मैले करियर सुरु गर्दाखेरि a lot of these men, most of the business deals happen outside of working hours. I know, always. I think that still stands true. They talk about football, they talk about cricket, they drink, they smoke, and then they sign agreements. Malai ke bhayo bhane त्यति बेला how often are women encouraged to watch sports either? अहिले पनि it's quite different. बुहारीबाट भयो भने बरु ज्वाइँ घरमा आएर फुटबल म्याच हेर्नु मन छ भने ठिक छ कि डु यु थिङ्क बुहारी विल गेट टु डु द्याट इन हर ससुराली नो राइट तर कस्तो भयो भने त्यो बिजनेस डिल गर्दाखेरि हाउ डु स्मल टक ह्यापन के ए डिड यु वाच द्याट म्याच लाइक लिभरपुल वन डिड यु सी हाउ ग्रेट इट वाज द्याट कन्भर्सेसन निडेड टु ह्यापन कि सो आई सोर्ट अ ल्याग सो म अस्ट्रेलियामा काम सुरु गर्दा के भएको थियो भने इट्स वान अफ द सिक्रेट्स I started understanding cricket a lot more, and I started watching Aussie rules football, and I started watching. So I do love football. Like I'm an Arsenal supporter. Any corner out there. So, but that you see those changes. Like it's not just about how smart you are. Okay? How can you do these small talks if you've never been involved in those conversations? How can you talk about politics? जब कि सानो हुँदाखेरि ए तिमीहरूले सुन्ने कुरा हैन तिमीहरूले गर्ने कुरा हैन त्यस्तो भनिराख्यो भने त अफ कोर्स इम्प्याक्ट पर्दैन
अनि आई वान्ट टु लाइक समवन लाइक यु हुन्छ नि बिन टु मल्टिपल कन्ट्रिज यस्तो पोजिसनमा काम गरेर आएको छ अनि तिमीले यस्तो कुरा भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ मलाई कस्तो लाग्ने भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जुन यो त रियालिटी भएन नि त हैन भनेपछि बेस रियालिटी त झन् कस्तो होला के फर अ वुमन इन रुरल पार्ट अफ द कन्ट्री हैन झन् कति नरमाइलो होला झन् नरमाइलोको त आई थिङ्क इट्स नट अ राइट वर्ड होइन मेबी झन् कति दर्दनाक होला भन्ने कुरा के समवन लाइक यु मैले तिमीलाई हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ आइसी हुन्छ नि होइन अब अर्बन 21st सेन्चुरीको अर्बन वुमन हु हेभ बिन टु सो मेनी प्लेसेस होइन बाहिरको डिग्री बाहिरको एक्सपिरियन्स सिइओ दिस एन्ड द्याट लिडिङ मेल्स या लिडिङ फिमेल्स लिडिङ ह्युज ग्रुप अफ पिपल एन्ड देन समवन लाइक यु सिइङ दिस इट्स लाइक त्यो बुझिरहेको छ मैले भन्न खोजेको नि
No, I do, but that's what I think this conversation is important. Okay? I'm not trying to say, look at how much women suffer. That's not the point. But I don't think change will ever happen if men don't support us. Okay? Like recently, Women's Day, Daraz, I volunteered to give a quick talk. And I addressed men. Okay? My question is, how many women in this room have been sexually violated, touched, inappropriately? Almost 100% of the hands went up. Don't you think that's a problem? And if you think professionally, how does it affect you? Of course it affects me professionally. If I have to think, should I stay in the office after 7? If I have to be conscious about the length of my skirt or how many buttons are open in my shirt, if I have to worry about things like that, don't you think that takes up gray matter, that space in your head? So I'm not trying to say that, oh, look at how much women suffer. Men do need to understand because true equality can only happen about that. And some of us don't like the word feminism because we think of bra burning women. We're like, don't shave your legs, and we hate all men. It's not about that. It's the fact that we still have to be careful when we microbusma chadakeri या हुन्छ नि बसमा चढ्दाखेरि पठाउमा बस्दाखेरि पनि लाइक त्यो ब्याग बिचमा राखेर आइ एम नट इन टु क्लोज मेन डोन्ट हेभ टु थिङ्क नो आर यु इन क्लोज प्रोक्सिमिटी विथ यर राइडर भनेर हाउ मेनी वुमेन इन यर लाइफ डोन्ट हेभ टु थिङ्क अबाउट द्याट के So those things do matter. So it's not like, of course, there is a huge disparity. चौपडी अहिले पनि कतिवटा गाउँमा छँदैछ के गाउँमा काठमाडौँमा इफ यु आर अन यर पिरियड्स मन्दिरमा नजाऊ भनेर अहिले पनि भन्छ नि पूजामा जानु हुँदैन if you think that these things don't affect us professionally as well, I'm sorry, you're hugely mistaken. So yes, of course. So if I was a man, I would have been a lot more aggressive in my career.
Okay. So I think the only way out would be मेरो लागि पनि हैन किन भन्दाखेरि brought up like हुन्छ नि I have a very good beautiful supportive woman around me के so huge credit to all these amazing women who have supported me हैन त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ I think यो होल chaos को एउटै एन्सर चाहिँ the other gender should start talking about it जस्तो लाग्छ कि किन भन्दा जेनरली वुमन्स डेको कुरा चाहिँ वुमन्सहरूले मात्र उठाइरहेको हुन्छ हैन त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ I truly believe कि the only way out is both the gender, all the gender coming together and start thinking कि it's just not about this one gender, but then the basic fact is regardless of gender, हैन हरेक कुराको चाहिँ इक्वल एक्सेस हुनु पर्यो भन्ने कुरा हो नि त हैन.
Absolutely. I think that's the approach that needs to change. Okay? And men don't have to, like, when you don't have to go to women's right and like, oh, wear a t-shirt that says I'm a feminist. Like that she's not the only one working in the kitchen. The expectations are not too high. And something that I'd like to put as a disclaimer, I'm not saying all, majority of the houses still go through that issue. So as a partner, as a brother, as a husband, you have to, as a brother, this is something that you'll want to, like you said, and I think you put that very right, and I appreciate that you brought this up. It is about having the conversation. Let's just start there.
True. So मेरो अर्को क्वेसन चाहिँ मलाई यो प्रणयनालाई म सोधौँ कि नसोधौँ भनेर म सोचेको थिएँ हैन मैले चाहिँ म हाउ द कन्भर्सेसन गोज आई थिंक म त्यति बेला चाहिँ डिसाइड गर्छु भनेर सोचेको थिएँ हैन अनि you have always already been public about it. You have lost someone, हैन अनि I think that's even I have lost someone, हैन अनि losing someone has a I don't know, I don't have a right word to मसँग सही तरिका छैन यसलाई भन्नको लागि हैन. So how has it changed you losing someone so dear, हैन अनि how has it changed you personally, professionally, अनि when you look back त्यो again I think I'm losing out of words. How has it changed you personally and professionally when you think of your losses, and coming from someone who understand what it means to lose someone, हैन? So I hope you don't mind me asking this question.
No, I mean, not at all. I do talk about it because I feel like, so I lost my sister. The reason I talk about it is because I don't ever want to feel like I've forgotten about her story, because she is incredible. Something I still struggle with is talking about her in past tense. I don't think I have it in me. I mean, we're 4 sisters and we are extremely close. And my sister had cancer and with her, the last thing that she said, the last text she ever sent to me read, I know now more than ever I will heal myself. Like, mo marathon daudinchu भनेर त्यो peak pain point ma the doctor had to tell us that the bone cancer ma त्यो point ma पुग्दाखेरि चाहिँ असाध्यै दुख्छ रे. That pain is like, it's excruciating pain, and that is a text she sent while she was in pain. Okay? So you can only imagine how she was. So but what that did for me was so there's one quote I read that really helped me, is grief is all the love that you cannot give.
Okay.
And grief is that pain is all the love you feel for them and that you cannot share. There's no one you can tell. Like the other day, I know I ended up crying because I just wanted to say I love you to her or hug her. But what that is that what it taught me was, I struggled with mental illness for quite some time. I had depression and I used to get, this is quite candid, and the reason I can talk about it now is also because I was able to come out of it. But the reason I talk about it now is I see so many people not talk about it. So of course. But I had suicidal thoughts. And I realized how little value I had for my own life, and watching her value hers, like she has 2 daughters. They're quite young. One of them was quite young, and when I think about how much she just wanted to live, just like we used to talk about watching the kids get married, my nieces, and how much she wanted that. So one thing that had changed in me was I started valuing my own life because she loved me, and if I cannot value her love for me, good God, like she just wanted to live and I have that opportunity, so I'm going to make the most of it. I learned how to be selfish because that depression came from the fact that I wasn't happy with what I was doing right now. Like my life didn't value much more. So one, I started valuing my life a lot more. Second, I live my life with a lot more courage. Life is short, we all know that. Grief and loss is inevitable, but what can we do about it today? Live life to the fullest. And it sounds so great when you read it as a quote, तर त्यो कसरी गर्ने भन्दाखेरि live your truth. Do what makes you happy. मेरो बाबाले चाहिँ जहिले पनि भन्छिन्छ कि घरमा, you'll hear this a lot, तिमीलाई जे खुसी हुन्छ त्यो गर भन्छिन्छ कि, अनि I'm finally doing that. So the 2 ways it's changed me is I value my life a lot more, and second is I want to be happy today. I don't want to wait for tomorrow. I don't want to wait for, I will go to Thailand for a vacation and I'll be happy. I'm going to be happy now. So right now, sitting with you, doing this podcast is making me very happy, and I'm very grateful for it. So that's what's changed for me.
Okay. one thing I like to brought up चाहिँ जस्तै for example generally for me I have lost my mom हैन I have lost to Alzheimer. So मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जस्तै I like talking about her के I love talking about her हैन अनि कतिपय कन्टेक्स्टमा मान्छेसँग कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो where is your dad, where is your mom भन्ने कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ when you answer oh so sorry भनेर त्यो awkward situation create हुन्छ and they move out of that conversation to a new topic. अनि मलाई चाहिँ त्यो ममको कुरा गर्दा फेरि awkward हुँदैन कि the whole fact that they want to move away from that topic to other topic त्यसले चाहिँ मलाई uncomfortable बनाउँछ नि किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जस्तै फेरि म कसरी इमेजिन गर्छु let's say tomorrow I die हैन all the good things that I've done in this world, all the good things that I've done to my people हैन would I want to be like हुन्छ नि not talk about the day I die हैन it does not sink well in my head के हुन्छ नि त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ should not we be talking about people who have lost all the good things, all the good memories हैन without feeling awkward, without feeling of course the sadness त आइहाल्छ sadness त it's a part of we as a human हैन ups and down हुन्छ तर त्यो awkwardness के कि मान्छेले मसँग कुरा गर्दा फेरि चाहिँ oh you lost your mom, oh sorry so sorry to for the loss and then another topic किन भन्दा फेरि त पुरानो टपिकलाई हटाउनको लागि अनि यो कुरा चाहिँ अरू कसैलाई भनेर मान्छेले बुझ्दैन जस्तो लाग्छ हैन सो आई जस्ट वान्टेड टु से विथ यु बिकज सम वे दि अदर आई थिङ्क यु अल्सो फेस द्याट जब कुरा हुँदाखेरि दिदीको कुरा हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ मान्छे अगाडिको मान्छेलाई अक्वर्ड लागेको छ अनि भन्छ अहिलेसम्म त्यस्तो
Yes, but I think, like I said, grief personal huncha ke. Like one of my sisters still struggles talking about her. Like it took her a long time just to be able to look at pictures ke. You don't know when it comes up. You don't know when it starts getting overwhelming. Like recently, my mental health I gave a quick talk. I didn't even cry at the funeral, because I'm one of those people. I find it difficult to cry in front of people. I was talking about mental health, and I said this one sentence where I said the last thing she said. I ended up crying in front of complete strangers. I was like embarrassed. I shouldn't be because vulnerability. I checked my eyes. I was like, am I crying? I was like, yeah, it was pretty. Grief is inexplicable. Like you and I might be comfortable. It took us time to get here. You never know who's not. So for someone to be awkward, I think for some people, I think it's good in some ways because you're not always comfortable talking about it.
म चाहिँ मलाई कुन कुरामा चाहिँ ऊ लाग्ने भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ लेट्स से इफ आई डाई टुमोरो एन्ड द नेक्स्ट डे पिपल आई स्टप टकिङ अबाउट मी बिकज हुन्छ नि दे फाइन्ड इट अक्वर्ड टु टक अबाउट अ डेड पर्सन आई वाज लाइक डज नट रिङ अ बेल इन माई हेड आई डोन्ट नट वान्ट टु बी टक्ड अबाउट इभन आफ्टर आई एम गन नट द्याट आई नो अबाउट इट होइन तर स्टिल हुन्छ नि सो या हा अमेजिङ थ्याङ्क यू सो मच फर ओपनिङ अप अन सो मेनी थिङ्स.
Yeah, like I said, live life with courage. I was gonna bring something up. So I have always been ambitious. I've always dreamt big, and I always thought that if I ever get the opportunity to give that one big speech of my life, I got really passionate just say. If I got an opportunity to give that one big speech in my life, I would start by saying, I'm going to be cliche and I'm going to take this opportunity to do it. I'm going to be cliche and quote Oprah Winfrey, who once said that the saddest thing in life is to be invisible. Okay? And I think the one thing, if I had something written on my tombstone, it would be that she made us feel seen. She made me feel seen. And if I can't live life honestly and with courage, will I really help people do that? So I think that's the biggest lesson that learning. And now when you said, thank you for sharing, I think that's the greatest gift my sister has left me with and will always, is that I matter and my story has value, and you should feel like your story has value no matter who you are. Even if there's one person listening to this that just feels like, you know what, my story has value, I think that's what I want to leave it with.
One of my personal lessons that I've self-taught myself after meeting her was like, सबभन्दा पहिला लिङ्कडिन खोल्दा चाहिँ ओहो यति धेरै एक्सपिरियन्स त सायद मैले मेरो जिन्दगीमा पनि बनाउन सक्दैन होला आफ्नो लिङ्कडिन प्रोफाइल उसको लिङ्कडिन प्रोफाइल कम्पेयर गर्दा होइन एन्ड आई वाज लाइक मेसेज गरौँ कि नगरौँ होइन रिप्लाई गर्ला कि नगर्ला होइन सच त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क त्यो वान लेसन इज हुन्छ नि आई थिङ्क डोन्ट बी अफ्रेड टु रिच आउट होइन रिगार्डलेस बिल गेट्सलाई नै मेसेज पठाउने भए पनि आई थिङ्क never be afraid to reach out. Maybe you send message to 10 people, one of them will reply, and I think that's amazing. Okay, that's a good conversion. So thank you for replying. Thank you for being such a nice friend and accepting my invitation, coming over a podcast. Thank you for the coffee you paid last time. Right? And yeah, I see me inviting you again on Doers to talk about a lot of other stuff जुन चाहिँ आज हामीले कभर गर्न
Please encourage him to invite me again because I have so much more to share. There's so much more where that came from. Okay. So please encourage him to invite me again.
Yeah, and always be as inspiring as you are to a lot new generation. I think because
too much responsibility, too much
किनभने भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हैन जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल म एउटा बेसिक डेटा सेयर गर्न चाहिँ नेपालको पपुलेसन चाहिँ 51% इज फिमेल 49% मेल हैन एन्ड एभ्रीवे यु सी देयर मोर मेल्स वर्किङमा चाहिँ अब एकदमै यो जेन्डरलाई साइडमा राखेर एकदमै कर्पोरेट पर्सपेक्टिभबाट एकदमै ग्रोथ पर्सपेक्टिभबाट डेभलपमेन्ट पर्सपेक्टिभबाट सोच्दाखेरि चाहिँ इमेजिन द 10 people in your company हैन 10 जनाको टिम छ 10 जनाको टिममा चाहिँ लेट्स से 4 are working and 6 of them are not working एकदमै क्यापिटलिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिभबाट सो डज नट रिङ अ बेल नि त भएन नि त कम्पनी कसरी ग्रोथ हुन्छ हैन सो सिमिलरली त्यसलाई चाहिँ देशको हिसाबमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ नेपालमा 100 जना मान्छे छन् भने 40 जना मेल छन् 60 जना फिमेल छन् हैन अझै यसको एज ग्रुप हेर्यो भने पनि यु विल सी कि मोर वर्किङ एजमा चाहिँ मोर फिमेल्स के अनि देश कसरी डेभलपमेन्ट हुन्छ त इफ हाफ अफ द पपुलेसन आर नट गिभन अपर्च्युनिटी टु वर्क हैन एन्ड दिस 40% अफ द पिपल आर बिटिङ देयर हेड आउट कि गाह्रो भयो देश भइरहेको छैन हुन्छ नि अनि सो मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ इफ आई वान्ट दिस country to be succeeding in my lifetime I think I have to do some part. I don't know how, but I have to do some part. So I have to play some role to encourage more female, not because of gender, or definitely to एउटा हुनुपर्छ तर जेन्डरको पर्सपेक्टिभबाट भन्दा पनि I think more from मेरो लागि चाहिँ हैन एन्टरप्रेन्योरल या देशको पर्सपेक्टिभबाट भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ we need more females हैन in our office, in our communities, in leading roles. And I think thank you so much for inspiring a lot of females to open up. Okay? Because if you are opening up about your insecurities, I think people somewhere in Dang, Butol, Bhairava, can come up with more courage. If she can do it, I can do it too.
Absolutely. Okay. What I want to add is that it is not enough to say we want more women. Okay? You are important, and that's what I don't think you should forget. You matter. तपाईं पनि महत्त्वपूर्ण हुनुहुन्छ यो चेन्जको लागि त्यो भन्दाखेरि एज अ भाइ एज अ दाइ एज अ हस्बेन्ड एज अ फादर तपाईँले आफ्नो छोरीलाई इन्करेज गर्नुहोस् बहिनीलाई इन्करेज गर्नुहोस् दिदीलाई इन्करेज गर्नुहोस् त्यहाँबाट सुरु गर्नुपर्छ कि त्यहाँबाट सुरु गरेर कामहरूमा पनि लाइक दराजकै कुरा गर्दाखेरि वान अफ द ग्रेट थिङ्स आई लभ अबाउट दिस कम्पनी इज द्याट it's the policy. It doesn't matter you say, oh, women rights, and we celebrate Women's Day. That doesn't matter. Do you have policies like work from home, flexibility, maternity leave? That is important. And you feel like, oh, as a company, I can't afford that cost of the additional, you think of it, but women are hard workers because we always feel like we have a point to prove because we have to fight for the things we do. Just don't say that we want more women. Be the person that can, and you, like you said, you are doing it. The fact that you care about this representation is where it all begins. So, and thank you so much.
Anytime.
I appreciate it.
Anytime. And cheers to more podcasts yet to come. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, for learning. So many takeaways to take from. I think, anything last ma bhanna man lago Pranayna?
No, just live your truth and don't be afraid. Like, Agina, when you were saying, no, don't be afraid. That one message, the only thing I'll ask you and I'll leave you with is, what do you have to lose? तपाईले आज जहाँ हुनुहुन्छ तपाईलाई कसैलाई मेसेज पठाउनु छ या तपाईलाई के गर्नु छ भने आज जहाँ हुनुहुन्छ र भोलि गर्नुभयो भने what do you have to lose? Nothing. So don't be afraid because you're not going to lose anything by taking that risk and being courageous. So remember you matter and live life fearlessly in the sense that don't care about what people think. Live your truth.
True. And regardless if you message or not, if you do things that makes you afraid or not, you're losing your day anyway and you're going to die soon.
Oh, wow. That's just bleak now.
So, yeah, on that note, we'll be back again with another amazing doer. Till then, you guys take care. And please join our Discord community. We're trying to bring amazing doers mindset भएको मान्छे चाहिँ एउटा खतरा कम्युनिटीमा यो डिस्कर्ड चाहिँ कस्तो रहेछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हैन I've started, the more I start to explore, now I understand what our parents thinks about social media.
Oh wow. No, don't make us sound old.
Yeah.
Say you. Not us.
So we are trying to create this amazing mindset of doers in Discord. Please come join our community. A lot of things are on plan. I mean, timeline create गरेर आएको छ. We might come up with a lot of entrepreneurial कोर्सेसहरू एउटा रियालिटी सो प्लान भइरहेको छ. वी आर कमिङ अप विथ entrepreneurial रियालिटी सो, आई थिङ्क वान अफ इट्स ओन युनिक काइन्ड. सो या, डु सपोर्ट अस, लाइक, सब्सक्राइब, सेयर, जोइन आवर डिस्कर्ड कम्युनिटी. Please reach out to us for anything and keep suggesting us. Till then, we're going to be back again. Till then, you guys take care. Bye-bye.